Hello, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Shawna Show. Thank you for those of you who are here joining us live. Say hi. And for those of you on the replay, give us a hashtag replay so we can come back and say hi to you later. And if we have not met yet, hi there. I'm Shawna Roche. I'm a mindset and sales success coach, founder of the Aligned Selling Method. And I help heart centered entrepreneurs to overcome their fears and limiting beliefs around selling, create a new money story, and embrace the mindset of selling as serving so that they can confidently sell their products, programs, and services in a way that feels as easy as having a conversation. So, welcome. I'm so excited today for our guest interview with Maiya Katherine. And Maiya Katherine always knew she had a calling. She was always able to discern when people around her were in emotional turmoil. It would take years of hardship, mistakes, self love, and self discovery for her to start healing her own emotional wounds and begin living life on her terms. As people around her continuously praised her wisdom and healing messages, she started thinking about sharing those gifts with the world. Her intention in life is to let the universe use her to help others take the necessary steps to achieve their own emotional healing and come back to the joy and light that always exists inside of us. And she says, here's a quote from her: I write for everyone whose emotional wounds have not healed, and for those like me who have decided to stop letting past hurts drive their emotions and their lives. I write for those who know they deserve to live a life of inner peace, inner joy, and fulfillment. Even after painful life experiences, my journey shows that healing and even happiness are possible after hardships. And that was written by Maiya Katherine. So, welcome, Maiya. I'm so excited to have you here today. She's going to be talking to us about emotional health and how it is so integral to achieve success in all areas of our life. So, welcome. I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor and I'm super grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Tell us a little bit about your journey, your story to get here.
You want a long version or the short version? I'll do the short version. I'll do the short version. Again, thank you for having me. My story is not unlike, a lot of people, growing up, good family. I went to all girl Catholic school. And all my life, I love that. And, throughout my life, although I had a good family, I did experience certain childhood trauma. And they affected my life in many ways into adulthood.
Mhm.
And after a series of crises and hardships, I had to go within and figure out, how can I solve this? How can I solve this? Because any answer in life or any problem has a proportion or a part that you have to play, that you can play in. So I said, you know what can I do to change my circumstances? And I realized that a lot of my situations and my reality was forged by unhealed emotional wounds that were making me act, from a place of pain instead of from a place of confidence, that were making me get triggered very easily, that were making me make bad decisions. And I had to go one by one and heal those childhood wounds. And as I healed them, I realized I was breaking the chains of the pain on me, and I was looking at the world in different lenses. Instead of everything being mean and scary and everybody being horrible, I started looking at the world in a different way, full of positivity and hope and possibilities. So I went ahead, I did my healing. It wasn't easy, but I finally wrote my book last year because I remembered it was Louise Hay and Maya Angelou's story, those two women that I call upon every time I have to do anything for my book right now, as angels looking down on me. It was their stories that made me think, if they went through all of that and they became extraordinary leaders and extraordinary women, I can do the same. So I said, who's waiting to hear my story and heal? Who's waiting to meet my story and thrive and live life deliciously like I'm living? So I felt it was a responsibility for me to go and write. And so I did. And that's what brought us here.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We were talking earlier. I love the word delicious. I love that.
Yeah.
And it so suits you.
Yes, thank you. I was saying I think it's a little bit of my Caribbean heritage. So, we have all the fruits and they're so delicious. So I think I kind of see life through the lens of Caribbean fruits.
I love that. I mean, and it's so much fun. It's like, I want to live a delicious life.
Yes, exactly. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about, you have your book there. So do you want to show us your book and tell us the title? And I'll also put the links in the comments.
Thank you so much. So, are you ready? Are you ready, Shawna?
Yes, I am.
This is a book, and it is called An Apology to My Demons. An Apology to My Demons. And usually that name at first make people like, give me a second look and like, what are you apologizing to your inner demons for? My inner demons are my enemies. My inner demons make me overreact and make me afraid. And I say, your inner demons, like I said, are usually coping mechanisms that you develop in order to deal with pain or to forget pain.
Yeah.
And here's my inner demons were, eating disorders. They were not trusting people. They were isolation. They were body image issues. And the reason why I apologize to them, because I realized that it was a cry for help. All of those behaviors that I had was just a cry for help for the pain that I had never healed. So I apologize to my inner demons for not healing them sooner, for not listening when I got triggered, for not listening when I was in a toxic relationship, when I'm listening when my body wasn't, going well, when my money wasn't well, when everything in my life wasn't working. And they try to tell me something's wrong here, something's wrong. So I apologize for not healing them sooner, because I always say there's no way you can achieve true healing while you're hating some parts of yourself. And whether you like it or not, your inner demons are part of you. So I said, in order to have total self acceptance and self love, you have to love the good, the bad, the ugly, and the demons.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Like, mic drop right there. That is, oh my God, like, it made me cry.
Yeah, me too, me too.
That is like so,
I'm tearing up.
because I
Sorry.
think at a time in my life where I was in a toxic environment and I was going through all the, I called it like my inner hell, my outer hell, but it
Yeah,
was like my inner part that was creating the outer part. But right then and there, like, just you saying that part, like apologizing to my inner demons that I wasn't listening to you, because the same thing. And once you're on the transformational, your healing journey, you realize that, oh my goodness, like, I literally, like, sorry for all of that, because we could have done something, we just weren't listening, and the stuff was coming up to tell us something.
it comes up all the time. And I say, you know, what one of my messages is like, you are not bad.
Yeah.
You are not bad. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not terrible, because a lot of times when we go through things, we turn it on ourselves. We turn the hate, on ourselves, and we become not loving ourselves,
Mhm.
because, we believe the stories that we're not lovable, that we're not good enough, that we're never, right. And then after a while we start believing it, and I'm just like, no, it's not your fault. It's you are not bad. You just have to retrain,
Yeah.
your self-protective mechanisms, right? So instead of going to the muffin every time to feel better, you have to retrain to go to nature and feel better, to go to the lake and feel better, to go to me. I go to Home Depot just to walk around the flowers and not buy anything. I'm sorry. I love Home Depot. I do buy things sometimes, but sometimes I go just to walk especially in the summertime. I just to walk by the nursery because flowers make me feel better. So you do that instead of grabbing the muffin, or you know grabbing the next relationship that is not going to go anywhere. So it's all, but you are not bad. You are not bad. That's a message that I always want to stress, because the beginning of self-confidence and self-love is knowing that you are not bad. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And for the mistakes that you made, or for what happened to you, it's not your fault. You're not bad.
No,
So it starts there.
it does. It really does. And I know sometimes when I feel myself kind of going a little bit there, then it's the awareness. And when you've
Yes.
done the work and you've done the healing, when you go there. And then I kind of have a little giggle at myself, and I'm like, oh, you silly human.
Isn't it like what you said is so important? I think you should write a book to, about emotional, because what you said there is so important. The fact that healing doesn't mean you don't get those ideas. Healing doesn't mean you don't go down that route sometimes. But healing means that you have trained yourself to get back out of that quickly, and then to when you get back out of that, to refocus yourself on different things. So I know for me it's nature, music, art, whatever. Like I know the list of things to go to. So yes, I go down, everybody goes down, but you just come back quicker,
Yes.
and that's the solution. Is never to be 100% zen, because I mean 100% zen is not living either, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
living either. It's the ups and the downs, it's a balance. So the what yeah, I think yeah, I'm gonna come in and interview you on your book on emotional healing. That was, but I'm serious, that was one of the biggest thing, because people feel you heal and you're done. No, it's a continuous process. But you just never go back in the mud again, you
Exactly.
know?
Exactly. Because the things they can come up and they can come up, you can be like in this great mood, and then all of a sudden it's like some kind of, pattern on a cellular level, and
Yes,
something
yes,
pops in, and then all
yes.
of a sudden it's like, whoa. But that's exactly it, the awareness of it, and then going, okay, I see you, I hear
I
you.
see you.
Exactly. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
that's so funny. Oh my God.
This is
Thank
beautiful.
you.
So, why should we care about emotional health? Consequences of poor health. Because you talked about here consequences
You're
of
like,
poor.
yeah, I'm just
My bottom story. Yeah.
okay. So why should we care? I
Mhm.
say everything in life, and I'm sure other people say that, but everything in life is based on two things: the way you see yourself and the way you see life.
Yes.
So it's based on, am I a good person? Am I good? Do I deserve good things to happen to me? And number two, is life on my side? Is life a good thing, Or if life is so bad and all I'm doing is survive. And the way to be able to answer yes to those two questions, am I good? And if life is life for me, do I deserve? The way to answer yes is by having a strong emotional core. You need to have there's mindset, and then there's the emotional body, right? The emotional body is what feels, the
Yes.
emotional body is what pains, and the emotional body is what rejoices, right? So if your emotional body is not programmed to be what people think of me is their opinion, is their opinion, it doesn't matter. I have I see myself in a certain way. I see that life is for me. Then when the things happen that you don't expect in business and relationships, you will be quick to turn it on yourself or to see the negative side of it, right? So it the way you see yourself affects every reaction and action that you take in life. When you
Mhm.
have hope in yourself, you risk more. When you have hope in life, you risk more. You when you have a unexpected problem in business, you have hope that I can do it because life is for me, and I am for me. So
Mhm.
everything in life depends on that. So the reason why it's good to have good emotional health, because it is at the core of everything that we experience in life. So yeah, I say emotional health is physical health, is financial health, is spiritual health.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I just love that. I love it. I was out, and it made me think when I was outside today taking my dogs for a walk in nature, and I haven't taken them for a walk because I've been busy, and they have a big yard to run around. But then
Yes,
today it was almost like in my mind, I'm like, well, they don't need the exercise, but I do. And I needed to just go out and be in nature. And so I
yes.
spent a couple hours this morning and went for a walk out on my sun deck,
Um,
and just like listening to the birds and just being in nature and grounding. And I didn't realize how much I needed that today. And it was
right.
so powerful.
Well, it's good that you followed your instincts. I always tell people that we get the little, just like the demons come up for healing. We have little messages all the time about what to do to get ourselves in the best possible way, but we just don't listen. Nature for me is the number one healer for me. Number one healer. I'm moving right now because I want to be closer to nature.
Wow.
And I wrote my book in the mountains with the bears. I see the bear behind you. I have bear right here in my living room, downstairs in my office. I
Yeah.
have a bear behind me. I need that, as well. And my book, the first I think the prologue or one of them, the first pages, I signed Mama Bear. That's how I
Oh, I
sign
love
it
it.
because yeah, I signed Mama Bear. So yes, nature is absolutely wonderful, and it's beautiful that you are aware of the messages and then you follow through with them. Because we have all the answers that we need.
Mhm.
Sometimes
Yeah,
we just don't listen.
that's exactly it, right? We don't. And so I love
Yeah.
that you said that. Yeah. So how do old unhealed wounds manifest into present reality?
Oh, thank you so much. Great question. So for me, I start the book with there is a monster inside her. She knows it. And I think no matter what she does, the monster always finds a way to come out. That's how I start my book. And so one of the ways is triggers, right? One of the ways that that you have unhealed wound is that you triggered very easily. And then if you look at your life, you triggered for the same things. Every
Mhm.
time somebody talk about the pens that you wear, you get triggered, maybe because you have body image issues. Every time somebody talks about every time you have a partner, every time the partner goes away with his buddies, you think he's cheating. You might have abandonment issues, every time. What else I had the ugly I'm going through all the demons in my oh, okay. Every time you have a new person, a new friend that comes in your life, you don't trust them because you were betrayed by a friend in high school. Every time people are nice to you, you don't accept it and you become the go-getter that does everything by themselves because
Mhm.
you don't trust people if somebody betrayed you. So you have that issue. So that's, this is just, these are just a few examples of how you have unhealed wounds. And I will say in general, when you don't wake up every day or at one point in the day feel joy for just being alive,
Mhm.
just being you, and one day, 2 days, okay. But when it's like a pattern of time where you can't find that joy, you're not happy with yourself, then it usually means something is wrong because happiness is really, the default feeling, not happiness, joy. Joy and peace should really be the default feeling that we have overall. And if you can't find that, then you have to go within and say, why? And I'm telling you, as when you ask the questions, the answers come.
Yeah. Yeah. They do. They do. Because, I wake up happy most of the time, pretty
Yeah.
much 90% of the time. And I do my little morning rituals. But
Yes.
one day I woke up and I don't know if it was a dream I had, because sometimes I remember dreams, sometimes I don't. And I
Yes.
woke up and I was kind of angry, which is really weird because I haven't done that in years. And
Yes.
and so that's exactly, I was like, why is this happening now? Yes, it happened when I had my job and I was in a toxic environment, and that was like a program almost in my body. So it was
Yes.
interesting. So how all of a sudden that morning I woke up and I was feeling that anger and all that stuff, and I was like, hey, what's happening here? Why is this happening?
Right.
And I was able to just kind of think about it, go within, tap into my feelings, and I was able to turn that around to joy in quite a quick time, going, okay, I know this is something, it's come up, just feel it. And then I'm like, hey, but what do I choose? What do I want to feel right now?
It's the reaction that changes everything. It's like, E plus
Yeah.
E plus R equal. We're back to that. We're back
Yeah.
to class. But it is the reaction at the end of the day. And one beautiful thing that you said is that I'm telling you, you have to write that book. You let the anger, you let it come up. And one of the things I always tell, I'm like, the feeling themselves are not the enemy. Okay, we spend our lives sometimes suppressing feelings. Even as a child, don't get mad, don't get angry, don't do this, don't do that, don't get sad. And you grow up with all those repressed feelings inside you, and then you have the triggers, and then you have this. So yeah, a big part of healing is letting the feelings come. Now your reaction with those feelings, you want to go and break a door, that's not good. But the anger itself is there to remind you, like you said, of something that still bothers you or something that bothers you in the moment. And in a way it's good because it tells you what your standards are. You know, without anger or without those things, you wouldn't really know what you like, what you don't like, what makes you happy, what makes you not happy. So it's not the feelings themselves, it's what we do with it, you know. But letting the feelings be,
Mhm.
honor them, their energies to be honored, and then you know, figuring out how to deal with them, that is a huge step in healing. So thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, yeah. I always look it back again, like the E plus R plus, yeah, E plus R equals O. And it was also Gabby Bernstein, a book of hers I read a long time ago, and I'm trying to think of the name because I have a few of her books. But it
Yeah.
was really, it was like choose again,
Choose
and that's what it
again.
was.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
both
I
allowing
love that.
it to come out, and then honor it, like you said, honor it, and then what do I choose to feel?
Yes.
And then feel
Mm.
that feeling that you choose to feel, and sit and feel that, and you can,
Yeah.
like, literally in like a matter of seconds, you can
Yeah.
totally flip yourself around, but it takes practice.
Yeah, and it takes doing the inner work. Like you have to do that foundation, right? So if you build a house, you it takes sometimes years to build that foundation. But once you do it, you don't have to ever go back again.
Exactly, exactly. So let's talk about, tell us how unhealed wounds affect our life view, and stop us from creating, like, view by, like, abundance blocks.
Okay. So I can go with one of the examples that I said about body about trusting people, for example, right? So if you have an unhealed wound of not trusting people because somebody you trusted as a child or as a youth betrayed you,
Yeah.
I always say our inner demons protect us, right? But they protect us from a place of pain. That's because that's where they started, right? Started with pain. And our job is to honor that self-protection in us, but
Mhm.
not protect ourselves from a place of power and confidence. So that betrayal demon or that betrayal unhealed one, it can make you create walls around you. It
Mhm.
create walls around you. You don't go out, you don't trust people, and you miss out on being social. You miss out on a community. You miss out on having friends that can be here for you, that can be there for you when times are hard. You miss out on people enjoying you, you know, the gift of you. And then you rob people of being able to give you the gift of themselves. So that's just one example. But yeah,
Yeah.
when you don't heal your emotional wounds, you operate through pain and fear and self-protection, but toxic self-protection, you know, and instead of okay, I remember being betrayed, so I'm gonna extract the wisdom from that and be more discerning, but I'm
Mhm.
not gonna create walls and put myself into a prison where I never interact with the world, you know, or I never let people in, because
Yeah.
then, like I said, you're robbing yourself of the gifts of others, and you're robbing others of the gift of you. So that's an example of how it can.
That, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that is so powerful. And I haven't heard it that way before. Like your toxic protection, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that, oh my God, like I'm just like, so like I got chills and goosebumps, because for a long time I actually used to say to myself, I built a wall around me. And it was like I literally would like visualize this wall protecting
Yeah.
myself, thinking in
Yes.
my mind that I was protecting myself.
Protecting.
And it wasn't until I went through my own transformational journey that that's exactly it, that I realized it was
Yeah.
toxic. Like I was literally stopping the flow, right? The flow of everything amazing in my life, of sharing myself with others, allowing others to come in. And it wasn't until I was able to bring that, relationships changed dramatically for me.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the reason why we both, and I totally like so honored to be here, but we both talk about those things because a lot of people don't realize they're doing this. I didn't realize until, and you, like you, it's after the healing that you're like, oh, I was self-sabotaging. But as you're going through that, you don't say, I am going to build a wall around me. You don't think so.
Yeah.
So when we talk about it, when we talk about our stories, it's powerful because people can now they may not find themselves in the concept of what we're saying, but then when we start telling the story, like you said, oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm building walls. Or oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm self-medicating with a muffin. Like, oh, that's what I'm doing. So it's very important to share not only the concept, like you say, abandonment issues, or you say betrayal issues, but then how does that look like in real life? It's
Yeah.
very important.
Yes, exactly. And I work a lot like with energy, right? So
Yep,
everything's energy and it's the flow of energy.
it
And it was
is.
while I was working with an energy healer that
Oh,
that she was the one who actually we talked about the wall. And she was the
yeah.
one where all of a sudden I understood that energy wasn't allowing to flow and how I was stopping so much creativity,
Yeah.
like all the things that make me who I am. I was stopping that from sharing myself in the world and allowing others in. And I was like, that was such a powerful session for me because I was
Yeah.
like, I had no idea. And for people who haven't been on a healing journey and a transformational journey and that, that inner growth work, it's so easy. Like it's very common for people to put walls up.
Yeah, it's common. And it's sometimes they feel it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because when I mean when you did it, when I did it, we actually did it to protect ourselves,
Yeah.
so it was protection. It was just protection based on fear, from a place of fear, not protection from a place of confidence and power and self-love. But it
Ex-
was protection, and that's what I say in my book. Your inner demons are not your enemies. I said the subtitle said the skeletons in her closet were not her enemies, they were her army. They are your army.
oh my
They are
goodness.
your army. It's just your army getting orders, to protect you from one way, but then you just have to give them the orders to protect you from a place of confidence and love now. But they are always your army. That's what I said. There's nothing in you that's bad.
Yeah,
Oh, there's nothing in you that's bad. You know how many people like don't love themselves?
I know.
There's nothing in you that's bad.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so powerful. Oh my God, so powerful. So how do we maintain good emotional health once the big healing period has passed?
Very good. And you talked about that before, and I
Well,
talked about that.
actually,
You said,
let's back that up 1 second. So, how do we start the emotional healing process? Sorry, I missed one.
oh, okay. So we started by answering yes to the question that I said before. Am I good?
Mhm.
Am I am I still deserving of a good life despite of what happened to me and despite of what I've done? And once the answer is yes to that, and it takes a while, but once the answer is yes to that, then you stop settling for crisis. You stop
Yeah.
settling for isolation. You stop settling for eating in secret.
Mhm.
You stop settling for not feeling good in your skin. And when you stop settling for that, then you do something about it. When something is a problem, you do something about it. But a lot of times we don't tell ourselves it's a problem. We say that's just the way life is. That's just the way I have to cope. But once we, that's my dog. Once we tell ourselves that it starts with that first, then once we start being sick and tired of being sick and tired, something like that, once we are, that's when the shift happens. That's when we start healing. And sometimes, like I said in the book, sometimes we need professional help. Okay, because some things like sexual trauma or all kinds of abuse, sometimes it's things that we can't really deal on our own. And every single chapter I say, if you need professional help, in the front and in the back of the book now I have, if you need professional help, get it, because
Good for
sometimes
you.
you need that.
Yeah.
And then if it's something that you can deal with on your own, then you'll start looking for solutions outside of you, and you start looking for the solutions within. So that's how you start, is when you can say, I think I really deserve a good life. I deserve to be happy despite of everything, and I'm not going to tolerate a miserable life. And
Mhm.
then everything happens. Now, the thing is that to get there, we all deserve it. That's like a default.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, none of us believe it. But as we all share stories, and as we all share the realization that, yeah, actually we do that, other people maybe can be inspired and saying, well, maybe I deserve good things as well. But it starts there. It starts there.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Which
Mhm.
then leads into how do we maintain good emotional health?
Okay, so that's yeah, as I was saying, you mentioned something about you going in nature and understanding that nature is part of your emotional healing practice,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So the way we maintain it, I mean, so you do your coaching, I do my coaching. We have a lot of things that we may suggest to our clients. We can be general. For example, be active if you can, be active if you're, if you have, if your body allows that, be active. um stop, feeding yourself with news, with the news and negative news all the time. Come home, put the TV, negative news. Stop, start discerning the friends that uplift you when you go to them, and the ones that every time you leave them you feel like you need therapy. um
Yeah.
or the situations or the job. So you start making you start understanding what circumstances and situation and people um,
Mhm.
make you feel alive and happy and positive, and then you start using, being around those things. You start making choices for your life to be surrounded by those things. And then of course you have nature, like I said, being active when you can, art, music, meditation, yoga, dance. Caribbean girl, I have to put dance in there. I
I love that.
can't. So dancing for me is huge. Like I just put
Mhm.
something on and I just dance, like, by myself
Yeah.
in my room. I did that since I was a kid. Actually, that was a huge thing I did when I was a kid. But yeah, so you start, everybody has their own. Like I said, there's some general things, like being in nature is like a general thing, for everybody. Being by water, being around people that uplift you. And then you
Mhm.
have the individual things, like you like the mountains, and you like, your bear pictures. Like I like my bear, I like my dog. I have my little dog, and I like to go Home Depot and look at the flowers. So things like that. So you start making a list of your individual steps, coupled with, steps that a therapist or a coach gives you, and you'll figure out what brings you joy by just listening to your gut, listening to your intuition. And
Yeah.
then you keep adding those things in your schedule, and you add those things in your business plan. I tell people emotional health should be part of your business plan. Self-care practice should be part of your business plan
Yep.
because it affects your money. So
Yep.
you start incorporating those things. You don't leave them for afterthought. Just you have gym.
Mhm.
I'm sure you have exercise in gym, or not you, but I mean people have exercise in gym. Able bodies, I'm saying, in their schedule. So you need to have time in your schedule too for emotional health
Yep.
gym. You know?
Yep. Yep. Well, and that's so important that you brought that up because I always talk about, like in my class with my clients, that your business is an extension of you.
Yep.
It literally is an extension of you, and energetically you're attached. So if you're coming from a low vibration, then that's also being brought through your business.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't think of it that way. They think about where they're struggling with their business on the emotional side and the mindset side. And it's like, so you start to have those conversations and you realize that, oh, okay, I really can make a big shift here. It's not, a lot of times it's not what they think it is.
No, exactly. And I'm sure I mean, you've seen that so many of the very, very successful people, they all have a spiritual practice and emotional health practice. They all do. Like maybe they don't talk about it, but
Yeah.
they all say, I start my day with meditation, or I start my day with exercise or yoga, and I'm like,
Mhm.
can you just talk about that too, in addition to your 10 business, tips for success? Because people need to know that's part of, working your money too. That's part of it. Your
Yeah,
abundance, but yeah.
exactly. I love it. I love it. And I've put in the comments here. I believe it's your Instagram,
Oh,
Clubhouse,
thank you. Yes.
your Amazon for your book,
Yes.
and then also your website, so people
Thank you
can.
so much.
So all your links are in here. I'll make sure they're in, like, on all my platforms, so people
Okay.
can get in touch with you and they can order your
Absolutely.
book and look at
Thank
your
you.
coaching services as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just got my life coach certification, I think 2 months ago. So I'm
Awesome.
working with somebody now to, thank you, to develop like courses. So, but I
Okay.
do have one-on-one coaching available right now.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here today. This has been a wonderful conversation. I mean, I could just
Yeah.
talk. This is a topic I could talk about for hours.
Yeah, I think I'm like, you know what? Maybe we'll do something when we talk again. Maybe a specific topic or something that we both share or something. But I definitely would love to speak to you, even if it's not in a podcast, because I feel, like I said, you should write a book about emotional health. I mean, everybody has, experience with how to deal with that.
Yeah.
And, you don't necessarily have to write a book in order to share, but I just like totally love you. And I'm just like, I can see us having many, many talks. So I
Yes.
appreciate the opportunity, and I'm very grateful for that. And it was fun too. That was awesome.
Fun. Thank you so much. And thank you for those who are here joining us live. We'll go look at your
Thank
comments
you.
later. And those of you on the replay, thank you so much. I just adore you, Maya. Like, thank you so much for being here. Well, thank you, everybody. Take care.